Hello and welcome to Success Strategies for My Web Audit. My name is Jonathan Hinshaw, and Cliff and I have put together a really good blueprint for you guys. So this is going to be an audit presentation blueprint. I would recommend you guys print this out and follow it along. This gives you just about everything you need to know about how to deliver an audit to bring in high value clients. So the goals that we have for any audit are to address the pain points, deliver some value, build some trust, and we want to position ourselves as the best solution, not the cheapest. So as you're looking at this, these are your goals. These are my goals. Tips, how do you do that? How do you address pain points? How do you deliver value? So there's some tips here. Connect the pain points to the audit points. You know, we overwhelm people all the time with all kinds of data, and we give them all kinds of things, but we don't really connect that data to what they're actually having a problem with, right? So remember, they called you, or if you reached out to them, they have a problem. We need to connect that to the audit points. After each section, you should pause and address questions. It's not a presentation, it's a negotiation, right? It's an engagement with them. So make sure they're part of the discussion. And don't overwhelm them. Don't overwhelm them with facts and figures and all kinds of information. Make sure that usually it only takes 2 or 3 pain points for you to discover and tie those to the audit to actually build some value with them and to build the trust. It doesn't take 25, aha moments. 1 or 2 actually works. And if you get nothing else out of this entire video, schedule the next call. I call it an interaction, right? Every time you have an interaction with a prospect, a lead, schedule the next call. That will keep you out of follow-up purgatory. That's where you don't want to be. Follow-up hell is when they say, hey, that was great. Thank you so much, John. We'll call you next week. They never call. Then they don't return emails, and they slowly drift away. So that's where you don't want to be. To avoid that, schedule the next call. Now, let's take a look at preparation. I always want to qualify everyone. I qualify who I'm speaking with. I make sure that I'm going to have a decision maker on the phone. Always qualify. Review their site, run the audit, check them out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. However long your call is, if you've got a 30-minute call, you should be preparing for that call for at least 30 minutes. If your call's an hour long, you should take an hour and you should prepare for that call. So it's very important that you prepare, that you take the time to get ready for this call. It might be the only one you ever get, right? So let's start with the intro. What I like to do before anything is confirm that they've allocated enough time for the presentation time. I tell them, hey, this call is about you. It's not about me. I'm going to only take maybe 30 seconds to tell them why they should work with us or to introduce my company. They're already on the phone with you. So we don't need to take 15 minutes and give them the history of our company. Just thank them, confirm their time commitment, reaffirm that it's not a sales call. So if you're looking at this as a checklist, then that's great. It's exactly what it is. Thank them, confirm the time commitment, reaffirm it's not a sales call. Now moving on, discover their pain points. Discover the expensive problems. Remember, the bigger problem you solve, the more money you'll make. So let's ask them 3 important questions. What will make this call worthwhile and successful for you? What problem or problems are you trying to solve on your site? Which of these is most important to you and why? Right? This question, what problem are you trying to solve on your site? They might give you 15 or 20. You're thinking to yourself, wow, these guys are like describing a $100,000 project and I know they only want to spend 10 grand. Let's break it down and say which of these is most important to you and why. I think it's very important to ask open-ended questions, not a lot of yes or no questions. Get them talking. The one who's asking the questions is the one who's in control of the conversation. Remember that. So, keeping our perfect intro in mind, qualification questions if needed. These are the if, right? This is the maybe, maybe not. How long have you been trying to solve this problem? How much have you invested in your website in the last 2 to 3 years? Restate their pain points, right? Like you said, and so that's why, blah, blah, blah. And reaffirm what they'll get. This blueprint that I'm going to give you, Mr. Customer, is going to help you rank better, help you convert better. It's going to help you generate more revenue, whether or not you choose to do business with us. We just want to give you some value. Now, let me go back to that second question up there. How much have you invested in your website in the last 2 to 3 years? That is a way better question than what's your budget? What's your budget sounds like wallet surgery. It's a terrible way to ask somebody what their budget is because it just sounds like a sneaky sales guy question. So how much have you invested in your website in the last 2 to 3 years? That's a great question to find out what they're comfortable with. What have they been spending? Are they ready to spend what it takes? Have they allocated good budgets in the past? This will tell you a lot about who you're dealing with and what they're prepared to spend. Now, during the presentation, there's a couple of things that we want to keep in mind. I want to remind them, I'm not bashing their site. Look, remember, whoever built their site, it could have been a cousin, a friend, a daughter, a relative. It could have been somebody they've known for years that works at an agency. So do not bash the site. What we're going to do is we're going to bring up the leaky bucket theory, the hierarchy of website needs, and we're going to focus on key stats. We're going to focus on the high and the medium impact points. So reminding them, hey, I'm not bashing your website. I'm just covering a proven formula that we've used to leverage our clients' revenue over time. We've helped our clients rank better, convert more leads. Ultimately, we've helped people grow their business by doing these things that we're not seeing on your current website. Most people don't know what they don't know. So you notice the second bullet point there, the leaky bucket theory. In case you guys are curious as to what that one is, that's trying to increase sales by driving more traffic to a website with poor customer conversion rate. That's like trying to keep a bucket full of water that has holes in it. That's the leaky bucket theory. And I get that all the time, right? I've run an agency for over a decade, and the number one thing we get when how can we help you, Mr. Customer? Oh, we need more traffic. But you start looking at it and you go, wow, these guys have less than a 1% conversion rate. I don't know that they need more traffic. Maybe they need better traffic. That could be it. But they have no conversion rate whatsoever. So before we send 10,000 visitors to this website, maybe we ought to check out their conversion rates and try to help them there. So that's the leaky bucket theory. It's a great way. I think stories help you engage with who you're talking to. So using these little stories are great ways of helping them understand complex and pretty scary topics. Everybody thinks they know what SEO is, but even if you ask 100 different people that provide SEO what it is, you'll get 100 different answers. So the clients, they think they know what they need, but they don't know what they don't know. So this is a great way to drive that home. Then what level are you at, right? So the website clients hierarchy of needs. This is where we can talk to them about maybe you have a functional website, maybe it's a reliable website. And maybe you do have some avatars and maybe a small conversion strategy, but maybe you're missing out on the high value stuff, right? The attraction, the performance, the measured ROI, the user experience, right? The funnels, all this stuff. So I love to go over the hierarchy of website needs with clients. This is a document that you get from UGurus, who has a great boot camp on how to sell high value clients. But at the end of the day, most of the clients we talk to have a functional website. It exists, right? It's kind of secure. Maybe it's free of some errors, but at best they have a functional website. Maybe the top 10% of people that reach out to us have a reliable website. But once you get into the understood, the attraction, the performance levels, they pretty much drop off the map. So that's where we focus. And that's where you're going to get your higher value customers. Educate them, right? Talk to them about user experience. Talk to them, educate. These slides that are in my web audit are not there to just look pretty. They're there to educate customers, to say, look, you've got to know what user experience is. You've got to know what conversion optimization is. They could nod their heads and say, yeah, we know what that is. I want to know that their definition is the same as my definition. So I'm going to educate them on what I mean. Now, focusing on high and medium impact points. What do I mean by that? Remember earlier we talked about don't overwhelm them. Don't worry about the low impact stuff. We're not even going to bring that to their attention. I even tell them you'll see a lot of low impact stuff. That's, over time we'll hit those things. Right now, my main concern is the medium and the high impact areas. These are the things that are going to bring you the most value today, or what we might call the low hanging fruit, right? These are the things that we need to focus on first. Those low impact areas, we'll just handle those over time. So as we move forward, you've got closing questions, right? And this is where it's if you've ever seen the movie Glengarry Glen Ross, he says always be closing. Closing doesn't mean, hey, are you ready to buy right now? Like, closing is you're setting them up, removing obstacles. And so these are really good questions, right? Who else are you talking to? Have any of those people offered you an audit like this? So what I'm doing is I'm setting the stage for, look, I've brought you a lot of value. You're probably speaking to others, but they didn't give you the answers that I've given you. I'm now setting myself apart, right? We want to deliver value and education and not sell. Do you see how addressing these points can help you generate more leads? Now I'm getting confirmation. I would just want them to say yes and agree. Yeah, absolutely. This looks great. What would be the impact on your business if your site had an effective marketing and sales strategy to it, right? What if it was an effective resource for your company? I mean, ultimately, the website should be a salesperson that never calls in sick, never causes drama, is available 24/7, and is able to help the customer answer their own questions and get ready to make a purchase. I doubt there's very many people that feel their site actually works that way, right? How long have you been trying to solve this problem? It's a great lead in for closing them. And how much have you invested in your website? We talked about that earlier, right? How much have you invested into your website? How much have you invested into the internet in the past 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Let's put a number on it. Sometimes what I like to do is when somebody says, yeah, we've invested about 10 grand in the last couple of years and, not much has worked. It's almost like using the Occam's razor theory, which is, the simplest reason is usually the real reason. And it's, well, if you've invested 10 grand over 2 years and you still want to keep your 10 grand budget for the next 2 years, what do you possibly think is going to change? I mean, wouldn't it make sense that if you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, that would be the definition of insanity? Why don't we put our big boy pants on, put a real budget together, and actually go after this thing, right? That's the way you handle the budget, the entire budget process. So, next steps. This is where you close, okay? This is where, are you ready to move forward? When they say yes, you want to get your foot in the door, give them a simple proposal, right? A full redesign with discovery plus solution presentation, that would be great. Like, let's redesign your website. But I really like to push discovery. We call it an intensive at our agency. And that's where we're going to sit down and we're actually going to go through the answers, create avatars, figure out what technology, what software, what kind of budget we're working with. We're actually going to put a plan together. You can't build a house without an architectural document. And I think it's crazy that we think we can build websites without an architectural document. If they say no, I'm just not ready to move forward. That's okay. But let's clarify, right? So great questions you guys can ask. These are really good questions. What needs to happen in order for this to be a priority in your business? Maybe they're working on another project. No problem. Let them exit gracefully, but let's find out what needs to happen in order for this to become a priority. When will you be able to make a decision? When should I follow up? Is there anything I can do to earn your business today? That's like are you sure? Are you sure? You sure you're not ready? Like, is there anything I can do to help you make this decision? I am not talking about giving them a discount, okay? I'm talking about, did you answer all of their questions? Do they feel comfortable? Do they have any objections that you haven't uncovered? What can I do? What could I do to earn your business today? I mean, hypothetically speaking, let's just wave the magic wand. Is there anything I could do to earn your business today? And they might say no, we just don't have the funds or the time. Or they might say, yeah, if you could help me work out XYZ, then we'd probably have a chance at doing this today. And you never know. So don't ask, don't get, right? That's the rule here. So don't forget to use the feel, felt, found method. I'm going to go over this with you. Let me give you the example of it first. This is a great way to obliviate any objection. You don't have to learn a lot of rebuttals. You don't have to memorize a whole bunch of stuff. Think of it this way. Think feel, felt, found. So John, I know how you feel. We've had other customers who felt the same way. However, what they found when using our services is that we're actually improving their revenue by over 300% within 24 months. What could you do in your business with 300% more revenue? So I put it back on them. The feel, felt, found is a really excellent way to handle budget challenges, right? Well, we've tried this before and it didn't work, so I don't think we're going to move forward. Hey, I totally understand how you feel. We've had customers that felt the same way. But what they found is they remembered having a bad meal and then they didn't stop eating. So even though you've had a bad experience, I wouldn't say that this is something you just should not even look at anymore. Would you agree that there's probably something that needs to change in order to make your website more valuable to the company? Right? So the feel, felt, found is a great way to overcome just about any objection. It's really going to bust open the doors on anything they say to you. So the feel, felt, found objection buster. Address questions after each section. Make sure they're part of the discussion. Don't overwhelm them. Always schedule the next call. And follow up. Use email, use calls, connect on LinkedIn. Don't browbeat them, but follow up. And if you're unsure how often or when, ask them. When would you like me to follow? Could I call you in a month? Could I call you next quarter? When's this going to become a priority? Should I call you in 6 months? Just ask them when. It's totally okay to ask them when. Now, I wouldn't want to stop a presentation without giving you guys something to do. Now, aside from printing this out and using it as a blueprint on your next call, I think you guys need to practice first. Never practice on your prospects. So you don't want to print this out and call a prospect and go through it. Print this out and grab a coworker, a business partner, a family member, a friend, and go through this with them. Practice so that you kind of know what you're going to say and where you're going to go. And schedule your next audit presentation with an existing client that you trust that will actually give you real feedback, right? If you have a lead in your pipeline, that's great. I love to start with existing clients, though, because they already trust you. They already know you. They're way easier to talk to than a new lead who doesn't know you. And you could take them through the process and say, we're trying out something new. I'd love to take you through an audit. I'm going to give you this audit for free. Normally we charge for it, but I just want to take you through this new audit that we have and see if I can bring you some value. It's not a sales call. It's just something where I'm going to deliver you some information, right? We're going to have a discussion about your internet marketing. And that's what you need to do. So don't practice on your prospects. Grab somebody that you trust to practice. And go schedule an audit. My best advice I ever got from my mentor years ago was get away from the computer. Your logo does not need to be redesigned again today. You do not need to play with software again today. Go get in front of somebody and see how you can help them. That's how you make money. So if you guys have questions, if you guys need help with something that we didn't talk about, please post it in the comments below. This video is going to be posted in a variety of places, but mainly on this Facebook page. So in this Facebook post here, get the discussion going, post your questions, even if they might be off topic, that's okay. Remember, there's no stupid questions. The only stupid questions are the ones that you don't ask because you feel like they're stupid questions. So what points are you most excited about learning? Do you want us to hit other topics? Do you want us to go deeper on things? Cliff and I have a plethora of knowledge and things that we want to get to you guys. And sometimes we're just not sure what you want to hear first. So if you guys want to post that in the comments and say, go deeper on this topic or that topic, or build us a blueprint for this topic or that topic, we'd love to get your feedback and even questions on this presentation that you watched today. Thank you so much. Pick up the phone and call somebody. Schedule that next audit. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.